Hello guys, welcome to Scion What If. So in this video, we will see what if Goku had unlimited stamina. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's start the story. Chapter 1, The Gift That Keeps on Giving. The explosion ripped through space, sending waves of energy in every direction. Goku hadn't meant to punch the meteor that hard, it just kind of happened. 1 minute he was training in the outer atmosphere, the next he was surrounded by glittering cosmic dust and a strange purple mist. "Whoops," Goku said, scratching the back of his head as the mist swirled around him. "Guess I don't know my own strength sometimes." The purple haze clung to him, seeping into his skin with a gentle tingle. Not painful, just different. Goku shrugged it off. Weird stuff happened in space all the time. He continued his solo training session, throwing punches and kicks at invisible opponents, completely unaware that the universe had just changed the rules for him. 3 hours later, he was still going strong. Usually by now, his muscles would protest, Super Saiyan Blue would drain his reserves, and he'd need to power down. But today? Nothing. No fatigue. No strain. Just pure, endless energy flowing through him like a river. "Huh," Goku said, looking at his hands. "That's new." He descended back to Earth, landing softly in the fields near his home. The sun was setting, painting the sky in oranges and reds. Chi-Chi would be making dinner about now, and his stomach growled on cue. Some things never changed, unlimited stamina or not, a Saiyans' appetite remained constant. Inside their modest home, Chi-Chi was indeed cooking up a storm. Goku snuck up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "You're late," she said, but there was no real anger in her voice. "And you're not even sweaty. Don't tell me you skipped training to go fishing again." Goku laughed. "Actually, something weird happened. I've been training for hours, full power, and I don't feel tired at all." Chi-Chi turned, spatula in hand. "That's impossible, even for you. Everyone gets tired eventually." "I know. That's what's so crazy." Goku's eyes lit up with excitement. "I need to test this out more. Maybe Vegeta can help." After dinner, Chi-Chi said firmly, turning back to the stove. "Unlimited stamina or not, food comes first in this house." Goku couldn't argue with that logic. "Ridiculous," Vegeta scoffed the next morning as they stood in the gravity chamber. "No one has unlimited stamina, Kakarot. Not even you." Goku bounced on the balls of his feet, energy practically radiating off him. "Let's find out. Full power spar, no holding back. First one to get tired loses." Vegeta's eyes narrowed. He never backed down from a challenge, especially from his rival. "Fine. Your funeral." They powered up simultaneously, Goku to Super Saiyan Blue, Vegeta matching him. The gravity chamber hummed as they cranked it up to 500 times Earth's gravity. The real test would begin now. Hours passed in a blur of blue hair and explosive energy. Their fists collided with thunderous impacts, each blow powerful enough to shatter mountains. Vegeta fought with his usual precision and ferocity, but as the 4th hour approached, sweat poured down his face, his breathing became labored, and his movements slowed almost imperceptibly. Goku, however, looked like he had just started. His attacks maintained their speed and power, his breathing remained even, and his eyes held the same eager shine they had when they began. "This is impossible," Vegeta gasped, blocking another lightning-fast combination from Goku. "You should be exhausted by now." Goku paused, floating back a few feet. "I know, right? But I feel exactly the same as when we started. Not tired at all." Vegeta's pride wouldn't let him quit, but his body had other ideas. After another 30 minutes, he collapsed to one knee, power level dropping as he reverted to his base form. "Enough," he growled. "Something's different about you, Kakarot. This isn't normal." Goku powered down too, offering a hand to help Vegeta up. The prince slapped it away, standing on his own. I ran into this weird purple cloud in space yesterday, Goku explained. After that, I just don't get tired anymore. Purple cloud. Vegeta's eyes widened. Idiot. You don't just absorb random cosmic phenomena. Who knows what it's doing to you? Goku shrugged. Making me stronger, looks like. Vegeta shook his head. We need to talk to Bulma and Whis about this. This isn't just another power-up, Kakarot. This changes everything. In Bulma's lab, machines beeped and whirred as they monitored Goku's vitals. He sat on an examination table, electrodes attached to various parts of his body while Bulma studied the readings with growing astonishment. This is unbelievable, she muttered. Your cells are producing energy at an exponentially higher rate than they're consuming it. It's like your body has become a perpetual motion machine, which shouldn't be possible. Gohan adjusted his glasses, leaning over to examine the data. Dad, your key signature is different too. It's not larger necessarily, just constant. No fluctuations at all. Can you fix him? Chi-Chi asked, arms crossed as she stood in the corner. Fix me? Goku looked confused. I'm not broken. This is awesome. We don't know that, Whis interjected smoothly. The angel had arrived shortly after being contacted, curious about this development. The cosmic balance is a delicate thing, Goku. No mortal is meant to have truly unlimited energy. But I feel fine. Better than fine. Goku hopped off the table, yanking the electrodes free. Watch this. He powered up to Super Saiyan, then Super Saiyan 2, 3, God, and finally Blue, all in rapid succession, holding the final form with perfect stability. Normally, such transformations in quick succession would drain him considerably, but his aura remained steady, his power unwavering. Fascinating, Whis murmured. It seems that while your maximum power level hasn't increased, your ability to maintain it has become unlimited. So he's not stronger, Vegeta clarified, just tireless? Precisely, Whis nodded. Though in practical combat terms, that's quite the advantage. Most fighters, even gods, must manage their energy reserves carefully. Can I try something else? Without waiting for an answer, Goku put 2 fingers to his forehead and vanished, teleporting away. 10 minutes later, he reappeared, holding a massive fish. I just went to King Kai's planet, then to Namek, then caught this guy on some ocean planet I sensed. Usually, that many long-distance jumps would wipe me out, but I feel exactly the same. Chi-Chi sighed loudly. Great. So now you can literally run around the universe all day without getting tired. How am I supposed to keep you home now? The implications began to sink in for everyone. Goku with unlimited stamina wasn't just a stronger fighter, he was a fundamentally different being. We should keep monitoring you, Bulma said. This change might have other effects we haven't discovered yet. Or side effects, Gohan added worriedly. Goku just grinned. Only one way to find out. I'm gonna push these limits as far as they'll go. And push he did. Over the next week, Goku tested his new condition relentlessly. He maintained Super Saiyan Blue for 3 days straight without a drop in power. He performed 10,000 Kamehameha waves in a row, each at full strength. He sparred with Beerus until the god of destruction himself called for a break. This is getting ridiculous, Beerus complained, stretching out on a lawn chair while Goku continued practicing katas nearby. You haven't stopped moving for 48 hours straight. Don't you get bored? Nope. Goku replied cheerfully, throwing another series of punches that cracked the sound barrier. It's actually pretty fun never having to slow down. Whis observed thoughtfully. Your mind should still require rest, Goku. Even if your body doesn't. Goku paused. Yeah, that's the weird part. My brain feels different too. Like it's always clear. I don't feel sleepy at all. That's concerning, Whis said. Sleep serves important functions beyond physical recovery. Dreams help process emotions and experiences. Goku shrugged. I can still lie down and close my eyes if it makes everyone feel better. But it feels like a waste of time now. Back home, this new development created unexpected tensions. Chi-Chi woke in the middle of the night to find Goku's side of the bed empty. She found him outside, training under the moonlight. It's 3 in the morning, Goku, she said, wrapping her robe tighter against the night chill. Sorry. Didn't mean to wake you. He landed softly beside her. I just figured since I don't need sleep anymore, I might as well use the time. Chi-Chi's expression fell. So this is how it's going to be now? You'll just train 24 hours a day? Goku sensed her disappointment. No. I'll still do all the normal stuff. Eat meals with you, help around the house, all that. I promise. She studied his face. He meant it, he always did when he made promises. But Goku's idea of normal had just fundamentally changed. How could family life stay the same when he never needed rest? Come back to bed anyway, she said softly. Just because you can keep going doesn't mean you should. Goku nodded, following her inside. He lay beside her, eyes wide open in the darkness as she drifted back to sleep. The minutes ticked by like hours. His body hummed with energy, his mind raced with new techniques he could practice, new places he could explore. Lying still felt like being trapped. But he stayed, watching the ceiling, because that's what Chi-Chi needed. The first compromise of many to come. Miles away, deep in a mountain range, something stirred. A tall, gaunt figure with skin like polished obsidian sat cross-legged in a cave, eyes snapping open to reveal irises that glowed electric blue. Impossible, Raijin whispered, his voice like crackling electricity. Such power, such endless power. He had been meditating, scanning the planet for energy sources as he always did, when he sensed it, a wellspring of ki unlike anything he'd encountered in his centuries of existence. Not the largest power he'd ever felt, but by far the most consistent, unwavering, and seemingly bottomless. Raijin stood, his long silver hair floating around him as if underwater. The cave walls crackled with static electricity in response to his excitement. After millennia of drifting through the cosmos, absorbing the energy of stars and lesser beings to sustain himself, he had finally found what might be an unlimited source. At last, he smiled, revealing teeth like polished metal. A meal that won't end. 2 weeks after his transformation, Goku finally agreed to take a day off from training, mostly to appease his increasingly frustrated wife. He helped with the harvest, played with his granddaughter Pan, and even sat down for a proper family dinner with Gohan, Videl, Chi-Chi, and Goten. You seem different, Dad, Gohan observed as they cleared the dishes. And I don't just mean the stamina thing. Different how? Goku stacked plates with uncharacteristic precision. More, intense. Focused. Like you're always thinking about something else. Goku paused, considering. I guess I am. My mind's always racing now. Like there's so much I could be doing, all the time. It's hard to just, be here. Gohan nodded. That's what I thought. The unlimited energy isn't just physical, it's affecting your mental state too. Is that bad? Not necessarily. But it's changing you, Dad. And change isn't always easy for the people around you. Goku looked through the doorway to where Chi-Chi was showing Videl an old family photo album. Yeah. I'm trying to balance it. But honestly, sometimes I feel like I'm pretending to be normal for everyone else's sake. Normal is overrated, Gohan smiled. Just don't forget what matters while you're exploring these new limits. Their conversation was interrupted by a crash outside, followed by a surge of unfamiliar ki that made both Scions instantly alert. What was that? Chi-Chi called from the living room. Goku was already at the door. Stay inside. All of you. Outside, a crater marred their front yard. Standing in its center was a tall, slender figure with obsidian skin that seemed to absorb light. His silver hair moved in an unfelt breeze, and his eyes glowed electric blue as they fixed on Goku. At last, the stranger said, his voice carrying an odd static undertone. The endless wellspring reveals himself. Goku stepped forward, instinctively placing himself between the stranger and his home. Who are you, and what do you want? I am Raijin. The figure bowed with mocking formality. And I want what I have always wanted, sustenance. You, Scion, are an all-you-can-eat buffet. Without warning, Raijin moved, covering the distance between them faster than most eyes could follow. But Goku was ready, blocking the strike with his forearm. The impact sent shockwaves through the ground. What Goku wasn't prepared for was the sudden pull he felt, like his energy was being siphoned through the point of contact. He jumped back, breaking the connection. What was that? Goku demanded, feeling a slight tingle where Raijin had touched him. Raijin smiled, his blue eyes glowing brighter. My gift. I absorb energy, ki, electricity, life force, whatever you wish to call it. One touch, and your power becomes mine. Goku's eyes narrowed. Is that so? He powered up to Super Saiyan, golden aura flaring around him. Then let's see how much you can handle. Their battle erupted across the countryside, moving too fast for normal humans to track. Goku quickly realized that direct contact with Raijin meant losing energy, so he relied on ki blasts and carefully timed strikes. But Raijin was no amateur, he absorbed or redirected every energy attack, growing visibly stronger with each one. Yes. Raijin laughed as he swallowed a Kamehameha wave, his body glowing with stolen power. Keep feeding me, Scion. Goku switched tactics, powering down completely and engaging in pure physical combat. Even without transformation, his natural strength and speed were formidable. He landed a solid kick to Raijin's midsection, sending him crashing through several mountains. But Raijin emerged laughing, his obsidian skin now streaked with golden veins of stolen ki. You don't understand, do you? I've been hunting energy sources across galaxies for millennia. Nothing has ever satisfied me for long. His eyes gleamed. Until you. I sensed it immediately, you never run dry. So that's your game, Goku said, understanding dawning. You're an energy vampire. Crude, but accurate. Raijin lunged again, fingers extended like claws. Goku transformed directly to Super Saiyan Blue, the explosive power increase catching Raijin off guard. He hammered the energy vampire with a barrage of strikes, careful to maintain just enough contact to damage without allowing energy drainage. But Raijin adapted quickly, managing to grab Goku's arm during an exchange. The effect was immediate, Goku's blue aura flowed visibly into Raijin, whose eyes widened in ecstasy. Incredible, he gasped. So much power. And it just keeps coming. Goku gritted his teeth, feeling the drain but noticing something odd, while Raijin was definitely taking his energy, he didn't feel any weaker. His reserves replenished instantly, creating what seemed to be an endless transfer. Raijin's body began to change, bulking up as it struggled to contain the continuous influx of power. The golden veins spread across his obsidian skin, pulsing with Goku's energy. His silver hair stood on end, taking on a bluish tinge. More. Raijin demanded, gripping Goku tighter. Give me everything. Goku didn't resist. Instead, he did exactly what Raijin asked, he opened the floodgates completely, channeling every ounce of his unlimited power directly into the energy vampire. Raijin's initial triumph turned to confusion, then alarm. What's happening? It's not stopping. You wanted an all-you-can-eat buffet. Goku said calmly, watching as Raijin's body began to swell and distort with excess energy. So eat up. No, too much, can't contain, Raijin tried to break contact, but Goku grabbed his wrist, keeping the connection. "You're used to feeding on beings with limits," Goku explained, almost sympathetically. "But thanks to that weird space cloud, I don't have any. You can take and take, but it'll never run out." Raijin's body was now painfully distended, energy leaking from his eyes and mouth. The ground beneath them cracked as excess power radiated outward. "Stop. Please." Goku released him and stepped back. Raijin collapsed to his knees, his once elegant form now bloated and unstable, power overflowing from him in dangerous waves. "You need to release that energy before it tears you apart," Goku advised. "I'd aim it upward if I were you." With a howl of pain and frustration, Raijin thrust his hands skyward. A massive beam of blue-gold energy erupted from his palms, shooting into the atmosphere and beyond, visible for hundreds of miles. The release continued for nearly a minute before finally tapering off, leaving Raijin gasping and diminished, his once obsidian skin now ashen gray. Goku stood over him, no longer in his transformed state but still radiating quiet strength. "Had enough?" Raijin looked up with hollow eyes. "What are you? Just a scion who got lucky. Or unlucky, depending on how you look at it." Goku offered his hand. "I won't hurt you if you promise to stop stealing energy from people." Raijin stared at the offered hand in disbelief. "You would show mercy? After I tried to drain you dry? You weren't the first, probably won't be the last." Goku shrugged. "Besides, you taught me something important about my condition." Raijin cautiously took Goku's hand, allowing himself to be pulled to his feet. "And what's that?" "That even unlimited power has its dangers." Goku looked thoughtfully at the sky where Raijin's energy release had disappeared into space. "For me and everyone around me." Later that night, after Raijin had departed with a wary promise to seek more ethical sources of sustenance, the Sun family gathered in their partially damaged living room to discuss the day's events. "So you basically force-fed him until he got sick?" Goten asked, clearly impressed by his father's strategy. "Something like that," Goku chuckled. "Though I don't recommend it as a regular fighting technique." Chi-Chi was less amused. "Our front yard is destroyed, Goku. Again." "I'll fix it tomorrow," he promised. "It'll be easy since I don't need to rest." Gohan had been quiet, thinking. "Dad, what Raijin said about sensing you from a distance. Do you think others might do the same?" The question hung in the air, heavy with implication. "Probably," Goku admitted. "My energy signature is different now." Whis mentioned that too. "Great," Chi-Chi threw her hands up. "So now we'll have energy vampires and who knows what else showing up on our doorstep." "I'll handle it," Goku said with quiet confidence. "That's one upside to never getting tired, I'm always ready." But after everyone had gone to bed, with Goku once again lying awake beside his sleeping wife, doubts crept in. His new condition had seemed like a pure advantage at first, but now he saw complications emerging. The isolation of being the only one who never needed rest. The family tensions from his constant restless energy. And now, the attention of beings like Raijin, drawn to him like moths to a flame. He slipped out of bed silently and went outside, gazing up at the stars. Somewhere out there, a cosmic anomaly had changed him fundamentally. Was it truly a gift? Or would it prove to be a curse? As if in answer, a shooting star blazed across the sky, except it moved too deliberately, changing direction twice before disappearing over the horizon. Not a star. A ship. Goku's enhanced senses detected multiple key signatures aboard, unfamiliar, controlled, purposeful. They had changed course directly toward Earth after appearing. They were coming for him. He knew it with absolute certainty. Goku didn't wake the others. Instead, he sat cross-legged in the yard, closed his eyes, and focused on his breathing. He didn't need sleep, but he could still meditate, centering himself for whatever came next. For the first time, he was grateful for his endless stamina. Something told him he'd need every bit of it soon enough. Light years away, in a crystalline chamber that existed partially outside normal spacetime, three figures observed a holographic display of Earth. Their forms were humanoid but with subtle differences that marked them as not quite human: skin too smooth, movements too precise, eyes that reflected light like mirrors. "Subject G has exceeded parameter boundaries," said the first observer, voice devoid of inflection. "Energy output sustainability, infinite. Duration capability, unlimited. Stamina threshold, none detected." "Unacceptable," the second replied. "The balance must be maintained. All beings have limits. It is cosmic law." The third, who wore ornate armor that seemed to shift and change as they moved, stepped closer to the display, zooming in on Goku's meditating form. "Deploy the constrainer. This anomaly must be corrected before others discover it is possible." "And if correction fails?" asked the first. The armored figure's eyes narrowed. "Then elimination becomes necessary. No exception can be permitted to the fundamental rule of existence: everything has its limit." The display zoomed out, showing Earth as a tiny blue marble in the vastness of space. Then it blinked out, leaving the chamber in darkness save for the cold light reflecting in the observer's mirror-like eyes. "The limiters will restore balance," they said in unison. "As we always have." Far below, unaware of the cosmic attention he had attracted, Goku continued his meditation, energy flowing endlessly through him. Dawn approached, bathing the world in golden light. Another day without rest. Another day of unlimited potential. Another day of being the most unusual scion in existence, for better or worse. Chapter 2, The Limits of Limitlessness. 3 weeks had passed since Raijan's attack, and Goku hadn't stopped moving. Not once. He stood alone on a barren plateau in the mountains, his hair the brilliant blue of Super Saiyan God's Super Saiyan, aura rippling around him like flame. Normally, maintaining this transformation drained energy rapidly, but Goku had held it continuously for the past 17 days. 500,000, he counted, finishing another set of lightning-fast punches. Sweat beaded on his forehead, physical exertion still produced normal bodily responses, but his energy remained undiminished, his muscles unfatigued. The isolation was getting to him. Not that he'd admit it to anyone. At first, the non-stop training had been exhilarating. No limits. No breaks. Just pure improvement, day and night. But as the days stretched on, he noticed the distance growing between himself and everyone else. They needed sleep. They needed rest. They had limits. He didn't. Not anymore. Goku launched into the air, breaking the sound barrier instantly. He needed a change of scenery. Again. Below him, the landscape blurred, mountains giving way to forests, then oceans, cities, deserts. He'd circled the globe 12 times today already. Nothing held his attention for long anymore. His stomach growled. At least that hadn't changed. Goku adjusted course toward home. Chi-Chi would be making lunch about now. As he flew, his enhanced senses picked up something strange, a distortion in the atmosphere, like heat waves but moving against the wind. He paused mid-flight, hovering. As he studied the anomaly. "That's new," he muttered, powering down to his base form to reduce his energy signature. Something told him stealth might be smart right now. The distortion grew larger, widening into what looked like a tear in reality itself. Through it stepped a figure unlike anything Goku had seen before, humanoid but with skin that seemed to absorb light, creating the impression of a person-shaped void. Only the edges of the being shimmered with definition, like the corona of an eclipse. "Subject G," the figure stated, voice resonating oddly as if speaking through water. "You have exceeded your natural limitations. This violation cannot continue." Goku dropped into a fighting stance. "Who are you?" "I am Constrain, agent of the limiters." The figure raised a hand, revealing fingers that seemed to stretch impossibly long. Your anomalous condition has been detected and must be rectified. You mean my unlimited stamina? Goku's eyes narrowed. Sorry, but I'm keeping it. Compliance is not requested. Correction is mandatory. Without further warning, Constrain vanished, moving so fast that even Goku's eyes struggled to track the movement. An instant later, pain exploded across Goku's back as something struck him with incredible force, sending him plummeting toward the ocean below. Goku caught himself just above the waves, spinning to face his attacker. You're fast. Constrain hovered above him, those eclipse-like edges of his form rippling. All beings have natural limitations, Scion. They exist for a reason. The cosmic balance requires them. Yeah. Well, tell that to the weird purple cloud that changed me. Goku powered up to Super Saiyan, golden aura blazing around him. He shot toward Constrain, unleashing a barrage of punches and kicks that would have overwhelmed most opponents. But the limiter agent moved with impossible fluidity, body seeming to bend around the attacks rather than block them. Your power is impressive, Constrain acknowledged, but ultimately irrelevant. The limiter extended both hands, and the air between them distorted. Goku felt it immediately, a strange heaviness in his limbs, a drag on his movements like he was suddenly fighting underwater. What is this? Goku demanded, finding his attacks slowed considerably. A localized field of accelerated entropy, Constrain explained dispassionately. Within this space, energy depletes at 1,000 times the normal rate. Goku pushed harder, forcing his body to move against the resistance. He could feel his energy being sapped, but unlike anyone else caught in such a field, his reserves instantly replenished. Nice trick, Goku grinned, gradually adapting to the resistance. But I've got unlimited energy, remember? You can drain it all you want, there's always more. Constraint's featureless face revealed no emotion, but his next words carried a hint of something almost like respect. Fascinating. Then we must employ more direct methods. The limiter vanished again, reappearing directly in front of Goku. Before the Scion could react, Constrain placed a hand directly on his chest. Pain unlike anything Goku had felt before erupted through his body. Not the clean pain of a powerful blow, but something deeper, more fundamental, like his very cells were rebelling against him. For the first time in weeks, Goku felt tired. Bone deep, muscle aching tired. What did you do? He gasped, dropping out of Super Saiyan as he struggled to stay airborne. I have temporarily restored your natural limitations, Constrain explained. Your cells now function as they should, expending energy without the anomalous regeneration. Goku's mind raced even as his body struggled. This was bad, worse than bad. He'd grown so accustomed to unlimited stamina that he'd forgotten how to fight with normal reserves. And these weren't even normal reserves, he felt depleted already, like he'd been fighting for days. Which, technically, he had been. You cannot win this confrontation, Subject G, Constrained stated flatly. The limiters have corrected far greater cosmic anomalies than you. Surrender, and the process will be less painful. Goku's expression hardened. You know what's funny about limits? He drew a deep breath, focusing inward. They're meant to be broken. With a roar of defiance, Goku forced his power to surge. The fatigue fought him every step of the way, but he pushed through it, hair flashing golden once more. Impossible, Constrained said, the first hint of surprise in that strange voice. Your limitations are in effect. You cannot. Goku didn't let him finish. He lunged forward, catching the limiter with a powerful uppercut that sent the strange being soaring upward. Goku pursued, ignoring his screaming muscles and the weight that seemed to pull at his very soul. Maybe I've forgotten what it's like to have limits, Goku called as he continued his assault, but I've never forgotten how to push past them. Their battle intensified, Goku fighting with the desperation of someone who suddenly found himself vulnerable after weeks of invulnerability. Constraint's ability to create fatigue fields gave the limiter a significant advantage, but Goku's raw fighting instinct and experience kept him in the fight. After a particularly brutal exchange that left both combatants reeling, Goku realized something crucial: the effect wasn't permanent. His unlimited stamina was starting to reassert itself, his energy reserves beginning to refill faster than they depleted. Constrain noticed it too. The anomaly persists. Stronger measures will be required. The limiter raised both hands, and multiple rifts opened in the air around them. Through each stepped another figure similar to Constrain but with subtle differences. One seemed composed of metallic rings, another flickered like static electricity, a third moved as if partially liquid. "Great," Goku muttered. "Friends. Subject G has demonstrated resistance to standard limitation protocols," Constrain informed the newcomers. "Implement contingency Omega." The four limiters surrounded Goku, each generating their own unique fields of effect. The heaviness in Goku's limbs returned tenfold, along with new sensations: burning pain across his skin, disorientation that made it hard to focus, and a cold numbness spreading from his core. "We are sorry it has come to this," said the metallic limiter, voice ringing like bells. "But the cosmic order must be maintained." Goku struggled to stay conscious as the combined effects overwhelmed him. His vision blurred, his muscles failed, and he began to fall from the sky. The last thing he saw before darkness took him was the expressionless faces of the limiters watching his descent. "Dad? Dad, can you hear me?" Goku's eyes fluttered open to find Gohan leaning over him, concern etched on his face. They were in Bulma's lab, medical equipment beeping softly nearby. "What happened?" Goku's voice felt rough, his throat dry. "We were hoping you could tell us," Bulma said, appearing beside Gohan. "Vegeta found you unconscious in the middle of the ocean. You've been out for 6 hours. 6 hours?" Goku sat up abruptly, wincing at the stiffness in his muscles. "That's impossible. I haven't slept in weeks." "Well, you definitely weren't sleeping," Bulma corrected, checking a monitor. "Your brain activity was off the charts. More like a coma than natural sleep. Memories flooded back, the strange eclipse-like being, the fatigue field, the sudden vulnerability. They called themselves the limiters," Goku explained, swinging his legs over the side of the bed. "Said I was breaking some kind of cosmic rule by having unlimited stamina." "Limiters?" Vegeta's voice came from the doorway. The Saiyan Prince leaned against the frame, arms crossed. "Never heard of them." "I have," Whis said, appearing seemingly from nowhere as he often did. "Though I had hoped never to encounter them personally." Everyone turned to the angel, who looked uncharacteristically serious. "The limiters are older than the gods of destruction," Whis explained. "Perhaps older than the angels themselves. They serve a single purpose, ensuring that no being in any universe exceeds their natural limitations." "But why?" Gohan asked. "What's so dangerous about Dad having unlimited stamina?" Whis tapped his staff thoughtfully on the floor. "The multiverse operates on balance, Gohan. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Every power has a corresponding cost." His eyes shifted to Goku. "Your condition defies that fundamental rule. You gain the benefit of endless energy without paying any price." "Sure feels like I'm paying a price now," Goku muttered, rubbing his sore muscles. "This is merely the beginning," Whis warned. "The limiters will not stop until they've restored what they consider the natural order." "Let them try," Vegeta scoffed. "We've faced worse threats." "Have you?" Whis raised an eyebrow. "The limiters cannot be destroyed, Vegeta. They are not beings in the conventional sense, but manifestations of a universal principle. Like trying to destroy the concept of gravity." A heavy silence fell over the room as the implications sank in. "So what do we do?" Goku finally asked. Whis smiled faintly. "What you always do, I suppose. Find a way to surpass this limitation as well." Over the next few days, Goku gradually recovered his unlimited stamina. The effects of the limiter's attack faded, leaving him once again tireless and endlessly energetic. But something had changed, a wariness, a new awareness of vulnerability. He wasn't invincible. The right opponent with the right ability could still hurt him. This realization led him to Vegeta's gravity chamber, where the Scion Prince was training at 800 times Earth's gravity. "I need your help," Goku said without preamble as he entered. Vegeta didn't stop his routine of one-finger push-ups. "The mighty Kakarot needs help. Has your unlimited stamina finally gone to your head?" "That's just it," Goku replied, stepping fully into the intense gravity without apparent difficulty. "I've gotten too dependent on never getting tired. When those limiters took that away, I nearly lost." Vegeta completed his set before standing to face Goku. "And what exactly do you expect me to do about it?" "Train me," Goku said simply. "Like the old days. Help me remember how to fight efficiently, not just endlessly." A slow smile spread across Vegeta's face, not his usual smirk, but something more genuine. "You want the Prince of all Scions to teach you how to fight properly again? This I never thought I'd see." Yeah, enjoy it while it lasts," Goku chuckled. "But I'm serious, Vegeta. Those limiters are coming back, and next time they'll be even stronger. I need to be ready." Vegeta considered him for a long moment. "Very well, Kakarot. But understand this, I won't go easy on you. Unlimited stamina or not, you'll feel every moment of this training." "That's exactly what I'm counting on." What followed was the most intense training regimen Goku had experienced in years. Vegeta forced him to fight with severe restrictions, ki suppressed to minimal levels, transformations forbidden, even with weights attached to limit his physical strength. The goal wasn't to make Goku stronger, but smarter, more efficient, more tactical. "You waste too much energy," Vegeta criticized after easily countering one of Goku's attacks. "Every movement should have purpose. Every technique should maximize impact while minimizing effort." "That's never been my style," Goku protested, picking himself up from the floor. "Your style relied on having more stamina than your opponent," Vegeta countered. "Now that you have infinite stamina, you've become even more wasteful. But when faced with an enemy who can negate that advantage, you're left vulnerable." Goku couldn't argue with that logic. So he adapted, relearning combat fundamentals he'd long taken for granted. Precision over power. Strategy over endurance. Quality over quantity. After a particularly grueling session that left even Vegeta breathing hard, while Goku, of course, showed no signs of fatigue, the Scion Prince made an observation. "You know, Kakarot. Your condition isn't just an advantage in direct combat." Vegeta wiped sweat from his brow. "Have you considered its potential for the rest of us?" Goku tilted his head. "What do you mean?" "Your energy never depletes, but you can still transfer it to others, can't you? Like when you contribute to a spirit bomb." Goku's eyes widened as understanding dawned. "You think I could share my unlimited stamina with others?" "It's worth investigating," Vegeta replied with uncharacteristic thoughtfulness. "Could be the edge we need against these limiters." They took the idea to Bulma, who immediately saw its potential. "Theoretically, it should work," she said, examining readouts from Goku's latest physical. "Your energy signature has this unique recursive pattern, it feeds back into itself, creating a closed loop. If we could find a way to temporarily extend that loop to include another person. Like a key bridge?" Gohan suggested. He joined the discussion, his scientific mind immediately grasping the possibilities. "Exactly." Bulma snapped her fingers. "But we'd need a conduit, something to facilitate the transfer without disruption." "I believe I might be of assistance there," Whis offered, presenting his staff. "This contains certain properties that might serve your purpose." Over the next few days, they developed a technique that allowed Goku to extend his unlimited stamina to others for brief periods. It wasn't perfect, the connection lasted only minutes before the recipient's body naturally rejected the unnatural energy flow, but in battle, a few minutes of tireless fighting could make all the difference. They practiced with increasing success. Vegeta was the first to experience the shared stamina, his power exploding to new heights when combined with the ability to maintain maximum output indefinitely. Gohan discovered that his mystic form, already tremendously powerful, became virtually unstoppable when freed from energy constraints. Even Krillin and Piccolo participated in the experiments, each finding their unique fighting styles enhanced by the temporary gift of unlimited endurance. "It's working better than I expected," Bulma admitted as they reviewed the data. "But there's a concerning pattern in the readings. Each time Goku shares his energy, there's a subtle change in his own pattern. Like the anomaly is evolving. Is that bad?" Goku asked, peering at the incomprehensible, to him, charts. "I'm not sure," Bulma replied honestly. "But it might explain why the limiters are so concerned about your condition. If it can spread, or evolve." She didn't need to finish the thought. An entire planet of beings with unlimited stamina would certainly attract unwanted cosmic attention. Their experiments were interrupted by a familiar distortion in the air, the same rippling effect that had preceded Constraint's arrival. This time, however, it appeared directly in Bulma's compound, and it wasn't just one rift but dozens, opening simultaneously across the grounds. Alarms blared as Capsule Corp's security systems detected the intrusions. Bulma immediately activated the compound's defensive shields, but the rifts opened inside the protected perimeter, rendering the barriers useless. Through each rift stepped a limiter, each with their unique appearance but all sharing that same eclipse-like quality, beings defined more by the absence of light than its presence. "Subject G and Associates," announced one that appeared to be composed of interlocking geometric patterns. "Your experimentation with the anomaly has been detected. The violation has expanded. Correction is now imperative." Goku stepped forward, facing the speaker directly. "We've been expecting you. But this time, we're ready." The Z fighters assembled around him, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, Tien, even Yamcha and Master Roshi had been called in for this confrontation. They knew the odds were against them, but when had that ever stopped them before? "The limitation will be restored," the geometric limiter stated flatly. "Resistance is inefficient." "Inefficient, maybe," Goku replied with a grin, "but it's kind of our thing." The battle erupted across the Capsule Corp compound. Each limiter possessed unique abilities centered around imposing different types of limitations. One created fields where gravity increased 1,000-fold, another generated zones where movement slowed to a crawl, a third could temporarily nullify specific energy types. But the Z fighters had prepared for this. They fought in coordinated pairs, covering each other's weaknesses, switching opponents when one limiter's abilities proved particularly effective against a specific fighter. Vegeta and Goku moved in perfect synchronization, their lifelong rivalry transformed into devastating teamwork. When Vegeta found himself caught in a fatigue field, Goku established their newly developed Ki bridge, flooding the Saiyan Prince with unlimited stamina. The surprised limiter found himself on the receiving end of a fully powered final flash that hadn't been possible moments before. Across the battlefield, similar scenarios played out. Piccolo extended his limbs to pull Krillin from a gravity well. Gohan's academic knowledge helped him identify patterns in the limiter's attacks, calling out vulnerabilities for the others to exploit. For all their cosmic authority, the limiters struggled against the chaos and unpredictability of the Z fighters' approach. They were beings of order and pattern, ill-equipped to handle the creative adaptability of Earth's defenders. But as the battle raged on, the limiters adapted too. They began coordinating their limitation fields, creating overlapping zones of effect that even Goku's shared stamina couldn't fully overcome. The tide began to turn. "This isn't working," Krillin shouted, narrowly avoiding a limiter's grasp. "There are too many of them." Goku knew he was right. For every limiter they managed to temporarily disable, two more stepped through new rifts. The Z fighters were being worn down gradually but inevitably. Then Goku noticed something, a pattern in the rifts themselves. They all originated from a central point, a nexus where the distortions were strongest. And hovering there was a limiter different from the others, its form more defined, almost solid compared to the others' eclipse-like appearance. The controller, Whis confirmed, appearing beside Goku as the Scion disengaged from his current opponent. The focal point of their collective manifestation. So if we take out the controller, Goku began. The others would not be defeated, but their coordinated effort would be severely disrupted, Whis finished. However, approaching the controller will be exceptionally difficult. The limitation fields are strongest near the nexus. Goku watched the battlefield for a moment, formulating a plan. I need everyone's help. All at once. With Whis's assistance, Goku quickly communicated his strategy to the others. It was risky, potentially dangerous for everyone involved, but no one hesitated. They began moving into position, fighting their way across the compound toward pre-designated locations. The limiters, sensing a change in tactics, intensified their efforts, but the Z fighters pressed on with renewed determination. When everyone was in position, Goku gave the signal. Now. Simultaneously, each fighter launched their most powerful energy attack, not at the limiters, but at Goku himself. Kamehameha, Gallic Gun, Special Beam Cannon, Destructo Disc, Tri-Beam, Wolf Fang Fist, even Master Roshi's maximum power Kamehameha, all converged on a single point where Goku stood with arms outstretched. Instead of harming him, the energy swirled around Goku like water down a drain, absorbed into his unlimited reserves. But rather than simply adding to his power, Goku channeled it through the technique they developed, creating key bridges with everyone simultaneously. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Every Z fighter blazed with power, their auras taking on a golden-white hue as Goku's unlimited stamina flowed through them, enhanced by the collective energy they just contributed. What is happening? The controller demanded, its smooth voice showing emotion for the first time, concern, perhaps even fear. This level of limitation bypassing is unprecedented. That's because you've never faced Earth's defenders before, Goku replied, his own aura now a blinding corona of blue-white energy. We specialize in the unprecedented. With their newfound power, the Z fighters tore through the limiters' defenses. Limitation fields that had previously slowed them to a crawl now merely felt like mild resistance. Attacks that had drained their energy now barely registered. As the outer ring of limiters fell back, Goku made his move. Using instant transmission, he teleported directly to the nexus point, appearing before the controller. The controller was magnificent and terrifying up close, its form composed of what looked like layers of reality stacked upon each other, creating a depth that hurt the eyes to look at directly. This violation cannot stand, the controller stated, its voice reverberating through Goku's very bones. The cosmic order, sometimes needs to evolve, Goku interrupted. Just like everything else. The controller extended a hand, and Goku felt the now familiar sensation of his unlimited stamina being suppressed. But this time, he was ready. Instead of fighting against the limitation, he accepted it, letting his energy levels drop, while simultaneously drawing on the collective power still flowing through the key bridges he maintained with his friends. The result was unexpected for both of them. As Goku's personal energy dipped, the shared network compensated, creating a feedback loop that actually amplified his power rather than diminishing it. The controller's limitation effect, designed to suppress individual energy, couldn't account for this distributed network. Impossible, the controller whispered. The limitation should be absolute. Nothing's absolute, Goku replied, gathering the networked energy into his cupped hands. That's what makes life interesting. The Kamehameha that followed was unlike any Goku had ever produced, not necessarily more powerful in raw terms than his greatest efforts, but perfect in its efficiency, drawing on the unique energies of all his friends while wasting nothing in its execution. The beam struck the controller directly, engulfing the being in blinding light. When the energy dissipated, the controller remained, but its layered form had simplified, becoming almost transparent in places. Around them, the rifts began to waver and collapse. The remaining limiters, sensing the disruption to their nexus, retreated through the few portals that remained stable. The controller regarded Goku with what might have been respect. This confrontation is concluded, but not resolved, Subject G. Your anomaly remains a cosmic irregularity that must eventually be addressed. Come back anytime, Goku replied cheerfully. We'll be waiting. With a final ripple of distorted space, the controller vanished, the last rift sealing behind it. As the key bridges dissolved, the Z fighters gathered around Goku, exhausted but triumphant. Even with the temporary gift of unlimited stamina, maintaining such intense combat had pushed them to their limits. Is it over? Krillin asked, leaning heavily on a piece of debris. For now, Whis answered before Goku could. The angel studied Goku with unusual intensity. But I fear this encounter has only accelerated the process. What process? Gohan asked. The evolution of Goku's anomaly, Whis explained. The energy network you created today was remarkable. A distributed system of unlimited energy, even temporarily, is unprecedented in this universe. And that's bad? Bulma asked, joining them from the safety bunker where she'd monitored the battle. It is certainly concerning to entities like the Limiters, Whis replied carefully. And perhaps to others as well. Others? Vegeta demanded. What others? But Whis merely tapped his staff on the ground, creating a subtle resonance. I believe we should focus on repairs and recovery for now. The future will arrive soon enough on its own. In the days that followed, life at Capsule Corp gradually returned to normal, or as normal as it could be with portions of the compound still under reconstruction. The Z fighters dispersed to their homes, carrying with them the memory of briefly experiencing what Goku lived with constantly, unlimited stamina. For some, like Vegeta, it had been a tantalizing glimpse of potential that only sharpened their determination to grow stronger through conventional means. For others, like Krillin, it had been a humbling reminder of the vast gulf that separated them from their Saiyan friends. For Goku himself, the aftermath brought mixed feelings. The victory over the Limiters had been exhilarating, but Whis' cryptic warnings lingered in his mind. More importantly, something had changed during that final confrontation, the way his energy had networked with his friends, creating something greater than the sum of its parts. He found himself on the Capsule Corp roof one evening, watching the sunset as Bulma approached with a tablet in hand. I've been analyzing the data from the battle, she said without preamble, sitting beside him. Your energy signature has changed again. Goku wasn't surprised. He could feel it, a subtle difference in the way his ki flowed, more, connected somehow, even without active bridges to his friends. Is it dangerous? He asked. Bulma shrugged. Hard to say. It's more efficient now, if that makes sense. The feedback loop is tighter, more refined. She glanced at him sideways. Have you noticed anything different? Goku considered the question. I feel more aware of everyone. Not like I can read minds or anything, but I can sense the others more clearly than before, even at great distances. Interesting, Bulma murmured, making a note. And your unlimited stamina? Any change there? No change. Still tireless. Goku stretched. Though I've been meditating more, like Whis suggested. It helps with the restlessness. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching as stars began to appear in the darkening sky. Vegeta's been training non-stop since the battle, Bulma mentioned casually. Says he's developing techniques specifically to counter unlimited stamina fighters. Goku chuckled. That sounds like Vegeta. Always looking for an edge. He's not wrong, though, Bulma pointed out. Those limiters will be back eventually. And who knows what else your condition might attract. As if summoned by her words, a tremor ran through the air, not a physical shaking, but something more fundamental, like reality itself shuddering briefly. Both Goku and Bulma felt it, though neither could have explained exactly what it was. What was that? Bulma asked, clutching her tablet tighter. Goku stood, scanning the horizon with more than just his physical senses. I'm not sure, but something's changed. His expression grew serious. Something big. Miles away, in a remote forest clearing, a perfect circle of vegetation had withered and died in an instant, leaving bare earth in a 30-foot diameter. At its center stood a figure that seemed more absence than presence, a humanoid void that light itself seemed to avoid. Lord Entropy had arrived, drawn by the disturbance in the universal constant he embodied. And he was not pleased. The figure raised a hand toward the distant lights of West City, feeling the anomaly that pulsed there like an open wound in reality's fabric. All things end, Lord Entropy whispered, voice like dry leaves crumbling to dust. All energy dissipates. All structures decay. This is the law that governs existence itself. He closed his hand into a fist, and the circle of death around him expanded outward, trees crumbling to ash, soil turning barren, even the air seeming to age and thin. The anomaly must be corrected, Lord Entropy continued, speaking to no one and everyone. Balance must be restored. In the distance, a deer froze mid-step, then collapsed as its life force was suddenly, prematurely exhausted. Birds fell from the sky, their wings too tired to keep them aloft. Insects ceased their nighttime chorus as entropy accelerated around the dark figure. I am the end of all things, Lord Entropy proclaimed to the growing circle of death. And I have come for the one who defies me. Goku jolted upright from his meditation, eyes wide. Something was very wrong. He could feel it, a creeping coldness, a draining sensation at the edges of his awareness. Without hesitation, he focused on the disturbance and used instant transmission, vanishing from Capsule Corp's roof. He materialized at the edge of a desolate scene, a perfect circle of death expanding through a once vibrant forest. At its center stood a figure of absolute darkness, like a hole cut in reality itself. The moment Goku appeared, the figure turned to face him. Though it had no visible eyes, Goku felt its attention like a physical weight. The anomaly, the figure said, its voice sending chills through Goku despite his usual fearlessness. The one who does not end. Who are you? Goku demanded, instinctively powering up to Super Saiyan Blue. I am Entropy, the figure replied. The final truth of all existence. Everything ends. Everything diminishes. Everything dies. It extended a hand toward Goku. Except you. This cannot be permitted. Goku felt it immediately, a draining sensation far more fundamental than what the limiters had inflicted. This wasn't just his stamina being affected, it was his very life force being pulled away, aging him, weakening him at a cellular level. He jumped back, breaking the invisible connection. That's some trick. But I'm not going down that easily. Lord Entropy made no move to pursue. Instead, the circle of death continued expanding outward, approaching a small village visible in the distance. All things return to dust, Entropy said calmly. It is not personal, anomaly. It is simply the way of existence. Goku realized with horror that the entity wasn't primarily targeting him, it was simply accelerating entropy everywhere around it, and would continue until the village, the region, perhaps the entire planet was reduced to lifeless dust. Stop! Goku shouted. Those people have done nothing wrong. Their time is merely being adjusted, Entropy replied dispassionately. Sooner or later, the result is the same. Fury built within Goku, not the battlelust he often felt when facing a powerful opponent, but righteous anger at the callous disregard for life. His aura intensified, pushing back against the creeping death at his feet. I won't let you. Goku declared, charging forward. He unleashed a barrage of attacks against Lord Entropy, each strike precise and powerful, the result of his recent training with Vegeta. But his fists passed through the entity as if it were smoke, disrupting its form momentarily before it reformed, unharmed. Physical force is meaningless against fundamental principle, Entropy stated. I am not a being you can defeat through combat, anomaly. I am inevitability itself. Goku switched tactics, launching a Kamehameha directly at the entity. The energy beam struck Lord Entropy, and vanished into the void of its form, completely absorbed. All energy returns to potential, Entropy explained, seeming to grow slightly more solid after absorbing the attack. Your power merely feeds the universal constant I represent. This was bad. Really bad. Goku's unlimited stamina meant he could keep fighting indefinitely, but what good was that against an opponent he couldn't harm? Meanwhile, the circle of death continued expanding, now halfway to the village. Goku needed help, and for once, he wasn't too proud to admit it. Placing 2 fingers to his forehead, he teleported away, appearing moments later at Capsule Corp where Bulma, Vegeta, and Gohan had gathered, already sensing the disturbance. "We've got a serious problem," Goku announced without preamble. "Something calling itself Lord Entropy is out there turning everything to dust, and I can't even touch it." Entropy. Gohan's academic mind immediately grasped the implications. The universal principle of disorder and decay. "Bad news indeed," came Whis' voice as the angel appeared with Beerus beside him. "Lord Entropy is not a being but a manifestation, similar to the limiters but far more fundamental." "You know this thing?" Vegeta demanded. Beerus nodded gravely. "Gods of destruction maintain balance by controlled elimination. Entropy represents the final, natural end of all things. Usually, it remains a passive force, working gradually across billions of years. So why is it active now?" Bulma asked. "Because of me," Goku realized with growing horror. "My unlimited stamina directly contradicts what entropy represents." "Precisely," Whis confirmed. "Your condition is an affront to the natural order that entropy embodies. By defying the universal constant of energy degradation, you have drawn its personified attention." "Great," Vegeta growled. "So how do we fight a universal principle?" "We don't," Beerus said flatly. "Not directly. Even I cannot destroy entropy itself, it would be like trying to destroy the concept of time. But we have to do something." Goku insisted. "There's a village in its path, and after that, who knows how far it'll spread." Gohan had been quiet, thinking deeply. "If we can't destroy it, maybe we can balance it." All eyes turned to him. "Explain," Beerus demanded. "Entropy represents the unavoidable increase of disorder and decay," Gohan said, his scientific mind working through the problem. "But in localized systems, entropy can be temporarily decreased by adding energy from outside the system. Like air conditioning a room while the outside gets hotter," Bulma nodded, following his logic. "Exactly," Gohan turned to his father. "Dad, your unlimited stamina is essentially an anti-entropy phenomenon. You generate energy without any corresponding increase in universal entropy. So I can counter this Lord Entropy guy?" Goku asked hopefully. "Not alone," Gohan cautioned. "Your effect is too localized. But if we could somehow expand it, create a field of anti-entropy." "The key network!" Bulma exclaimed. "Like what you all did against the limiters, but on a larger scale." A plan quickly formed. While Goku returned to delay Lord Entropy as best he could, the others prepared for what would essentially be a reverse spirit bomb. Instead of gathering energy, Goku would distribute his unlimited stamina across as wide an area as possible, creating a zone where entropy's effects would be temporarily neutralized. When everyone was ready, they converged on the expanding circle of death, which had nearly reached the village. Lord Entropy stood at its center, seemingly content to let his mere presence do the work of destruction. "Returned so soon?" the entity asked as Goku approached. "Your persistence, while admirable, changes nothing." "Maybe not alone," Goku replied. "But I'm not alone." Around the perimeter of the dead zone, the Z fighters took up positions: Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, Tien, Yamcha, even Android 18, whose unlimited energy, though different from Goku's, might prove useful. Bulma and Dar. Brief had hastily constructed amplifiers based on the technology in Whis' staff, placed at strategic points to strengthen the network they planned to create. Whis himself hovered above the battlefield, staff raised. "What you attempt is dangerous," he warned. "Creating a localized reversal of entropy could have unforeseen consequences." "We'll deal with those later," Goku replied. "Right now, we need to stop this thing." At Whis' signal, Goku powered up to his maximum, his blue aura blazing like a miniature sun. Then, focusing on the technique they developed, he extended key bridges to each of his friends simultaneously, sharing not just his energy this time, but the fundamental property that made it unlimited. The effect rippled outward like a wave, each sea fighter becoming a node in the network, their combined auras creating a dome of energy that pushed back against the encroaching death. Where the two forces met, reality itself seemed to waver, uncertain which principle should prevail. "Fascinating," Lord Entropy observed, showing the first hint of emotion, curiosity. "You attempt to create a bubble of reversed entropy. Bold, but ultimately futile. We'll see about that." Goku shouted, pushing more energy into the network. The battle that followed wasn't one of physical blows or energy blasts, but of fundamental principles in opposition. Lord Entropy's influence, the natural tendency of all things toward disorder and decay, pressed against the artificial zone of renewal that Goku and his friends had created. Plants that had withered began to revive at the edges of the dead zone. Animals that had collapsed found new strength. The very air seemed to freshen and clarify. Lord Entropy noticed the reversal with apparent displeasure. "This is not the natural way," he stated, his form becoming more defined as he focused his attention on the anomaly. "All things must end. All energy must dissipate." "Maybe someday," Goku agreed, straining to maintain the network as Lord Entropy's influence intensified. "But not today, and not here." The entity moved toward Goku directly, its void-like hand reaching out to touch him. Where Entropy's fingers passed, Goku's aura dimmed momentarily, the connection to the network wavering. "Your resistance is impressive, Anomaly," Entropy acknowledged. "Few beings have ever directly opposed my influence. None have succeeded for long." Goku felt the drain intensify as Lord Entropy focused on him specifically, not just his energy now, but his very life force being pulled away. Years seemed to slip from him with each moment of contact. Yet his unlimited stamina fought back, replacing what was taken instantly, creating a stalemate that couldn't last indefinitely. Around the perimeter, his friends struggled too. The network demanded more and more from them as they fought to maintain the anti-entropy field against increasing pressure. Even with Goku's shared stamina, they had limits. "We can't keep this up forever." Vegeta shouted, his form beginning to waver under the strain. "We don't need forever," Goku called back. "Just long enough." "But for what?" Goku realized they'd created this plan without an endgame. They couldn't destroy entropy, only hold it at bay temporarily. Eventually, the network would collapse, and the natural order would reassert itself with even greater force. Unless... A crazy idea formed in Goku's mind. The kind of idea that usually either saved the world or made things much, much worse. "Whis," he called up to the angel. "You said entropy is a fundamental force, right? Something that has to exist." "Correct," Whis replied, his usual calm slightly strained as he channeled energy through his staff to support the network. "Entropy cannot be destroyed without unraveling reality itself. But it can be channeled, directed." Goku pressed, even as Lord Entropy's cold touch continued to age him prematurely. Whis' eyes widened slightly as he grasped Goku's thinking. "Theoretically, yes. Though I would strongly advise against, no time for caution." Goku interrupted. "Everyone, on my signal, direct all energy toward me. Vegeta, be ready with your most powerful attack." "What are you planning, Kakarot?" Vegeta demanded. "Something stupid." Goku replied with a grin despite his rapidly whitening hair, not from transformation, but from accelerated aging as entropy's touch continued to affect him. "Just be ready." Before Vegeta could protest further, Goku made his move. Instead of resisting Lord Entropy's drain, he embraced it, opening himself fully to the entity's touch while simultaneously maintaining the key network with his friends. "What is this?" Lord Entropy asked, genuine surprise in his hollow voice. "You welcome decay." "Not exactly," Goku managed through gritted teeth as he felt his body aging years with each passing second. "I'm just giving you what you want, me." With that, Goku reversed the flow of the network. Instead of distributing his unlimited stamina outward, he began drawing in energy from his friends while simultaneously absorbing Entropy's influence. He became the focal point of two opposing forces, a conduit rather than a barrier. "Now," he shouted to his friends. Understanding dawned on Vegeta's face. "Everyone, give Kakarot everything you've got." Each Z fighter channeled their remaining power directly to Goku, who served as both conductor and capacitor. His body glowed with competing energies, the golden blue light of Ki and the void-like darkness of Entropy, swirling together yet not mixing, like oil and water caught in the same container. Lord Entropy realized too late what was happening. "This is not possible," the entity stated, trying to withdraw its influence but finding itself somehow entangled with Goku's energy. "You cannot contain opposites within a single vessel." "Watch me," Goku challenged, his voice strained but determined. His body had aged dramatically, hair white, skin wrinkled, muscle mass diminished, yet his eyes burned with the same intensity they always had. Within him, the unlimited stamina that had started this conflict served a new purpose, not fighting against Entropy, but providing a vessel strong enough to temporarily contain its influence. "Vegeta, now!" Goku shouted. The Saiyan Prince needed no further prompting. He launched his most powerful attack directly at Goku, not to harm him, but to provide the catalyst needed for what came next. As Vegeta's energy struck, Goku used instant transmission, teleporting himself and the concentrated essence of Lord Entropy far from Earth, to the empty space between galaxies, a region devoid of life that could be harmed. There, in the cold vacuum, Goku released everything he had contained, the combined power of his friends, the concentrated influence of Entropy, and his own unlimited energy, in an explosion that momentarily outshone entire star systems. Back on Earth, the Z fighters watched the distant flash with mixed emotions, concern for Goku, relief that the immediate threat had passed, uncertainty about what would happen next. "Did it work?" Krillin asked, breaking the tense silence that followed. "Partially," Whis replied, his expression serious. "Goku has not destroyed Lord Entropy, such a thing is impossible. But he has disrupted its manifestation, scattered its influence across a vast, empty region where it can do no immediate harm." "And Goku?" Gohan asked, the fear evident in his voice. "My father?" Whis didn't answer immediately, his gaze fixed on the distant point where the explosion had occurred. Then, unexpectedly, he smiled. "It seems your father's unique condition continues to defy expectations." A moment later, Goku appeared before them, using instant transmission. But the Goku who returned was not the aged man who had departed. Nor was he the same Goku who had discovered his unlimited stamina weeks earlier. This Goku stood tall, his hair its normal black, his body showing no signs of Entropy's aging effect. But his eyes held a depth that hadn't been there before, and his energy signature had changed yet again, still unlimited in its stamina, but somehow more balanced. "Dad!" Gohan rushed forward, embracing his father. "Hey, son," Goku replied, his voice normal but with a subtle new resonance. "Sorry for the scare." "What happened out there, Kakarot?" Vegeta demanded. "You should be dead, or at least a withered old man." Goku looked down at his hands, seemingly as surprised as the others by his condition. "I'm not entirely sure. When I released everything out in space, I thought I was done for. But then something weird happened." He paused, struggling to find words. It was like, the unlimited stamina and Entropy's effect cancelled each other out, but not completely. They kind of reached an agreement. "Impossible," Beerus scoffed. "Cosmic forces don't reach agreements. And yet, Whis observed, studying Goku closely, that appears to be exactly what happened. Most fascinating. I feel different, Goku admitted. Still unlimited in stamina, but, there's a new awareness that comes with it now. Like I understand the cost of that energy, even if I don't have to pay it personally. Whis nodded thoughtfully. You have become a conduit, Goku. A channel through which both unlimited energy and entropy flow, maintaining a localized balance rather than opposing universal constants. Is that good? Chi-Chi asked, finally approaching her husband with cautious relief. It is, unprecedented, Whis replied. And likely why Lord Entropy has withdrawn rather than continued its assault. You are no longer simply an anomaly defying cosmic law, but a new expression of balance between opposing forces. Goku scratched the back of his head in his characteristic gesture. So, no more bad guys trying to correct me. I would not go that far, Whis cautioned. The multiverse contains countless entities concerned with maintaining what they perceive as proper order. But you have certainly resolved the most fundamental objection to your condition. The explanation satisfied no one completely, but the immediate crisis had passed. The circle of death had receded, life returning to the affected area as if it had never been threatened. The village was safe, Earth was safe, and Goku was, well, not exactly normal, but when had he ever been? As they returned to Capsule Corp to recover and assess the changes more thoroughly, Vegeta fell into step beside Goku. Only you, Kakarot, the prince said with a mixture of exasperation and reluctant admiration, would think to solve a cosmic crisis by absorbing it. Goku laughed. It worked, didn't it? This time, Vegeta acknowledged. But I'm not counting on our luck holding forever. Whatever this new balance is, I intend to find ways to match it through conventional means. I wouldn't expect anything less, Goku replied with a grin. As they walked, Goku felt the new rhythm of energy flowing through him, his unlimited stamina still very much present, but now tempered with an awareness of its place in the greater cosmic balance. He could feel entropy's influence as well, not as an opponent now but as a counterweight, keeping his condition from spreading unchecked across the universe. It was, he realized, exactly what he'd needed all along. Unlimited stamina had been both blessing and curse, allowing him to fight without tiring but isolating him from the natural cycles that connected all living things. Now he existed at the intersection of those forces, neither bound by normal limitations nor completely free of them. In the distance, thunder rumbled as storm clouds gathered, the normal, healthy entropy of weather patterns reasserting itself. Goku welcomed the sound, feeling connected to it in a way he never had before. Balance. Not what he'd expected, but perhaps exactly what he'd needed. Chapter 3, Entropy's End. 3 months had passed since Goku's confrontation with Lord Entropy, and things had almost returned to normal, almost being the operative word. The Sun family farm flourished under Goku's constant attention. Chi-Chi had adjusted to her husband's perpetual wakefulness, and the Z fighters had settled back into their regular routines. But Goku knew something wasn't right. He stood in a rice paddy, ankle-deep in water that should have been teeming with life. The seedlings he'd planted last week had withered overnight, their green shoots turning brown and brittle without explanation. This was the third failed planting in a row. That's weird, Goku muttered, crouching to examine a dead seedling. As his fingers brushed the plant, he felt a familiar cold sensation, the same emptiness he'd experienced when touching Lord Entropy. Straightening up, Goku scanned the horizon with senses that went beyond the physical. Since becoming a conduit, as was called it, for both unlimited energy and entropy, he'd developed a heightened awareness of the balance between these forces. And right now, that balance was definitely off. Subtle at first, a withered plant here, a prematurely rusted tool there, but growing more noticeable every day. Something was accelerating decay across his land, and Goku suspected it wasn't just affecting his farm. His suspicions were confirmed when Gohan called that evening. "Dad, are you seeing this too?" Gohan's voice carried a tension that immediately put Goku on alert. Plants dying, food spoiling faster than normal, even electronics failing for no reason. Yeah, it started with our crops, Goku replied, pacing the kitchen while Chi-Chi listened with growing concern. I thought maybe it was just bad luck, but it's happening everywhere, Gohan finished. I've been getting reports from around the world. Subtle at first, but accelerating. And Dad. I think it might be connected to what happened with Lord Entropy. Goku's hand unconsciously went to his chest, where he could feel the dual energies flowing through him, his unlimited stamina and the entropic force he'd absorbed months ago, existing in uneasy balance. I think you're right, he admitted. I can feel it, like the balance is shifting. Something's not right. We need to talk to Whis, Gohan suggested. This is beyond normal science. Goku nodded though his son couldn't see it. I'll contact Bulma. We'll meet at Capsule Corp tomorrow. After hanging up, he turned to find Chi-Chi watching him with arms crossed, not angry, just worried. It's starting again, isn't it? She asked quietly. Another world-ending crisis? Goku tried to smile reassuringly. Not world-ending. Just, world-changing. But we'll handle it. We always do. Chi-Chi sighed, stepping forward to straighten his collar in a gesture that was pure habit after so many years together. Just remember, unlimited stamina or not, you've still got people waiting for you to come home. I know. He pulled her into a hug. That's why I keep fighting. The scene at Capsule Corp the next day confirmed their worst fears. Scientists from around the world had sent data to Bulma, all showing the same pattern, an inexplicable acceleration of entropy across the planet. Metals corroded faster, organic matter decomposed more quickly, and energy systems showed increasing inefficiency. It's like the laws of thermodynamics are being rewritten, Bulma explained, displaying global charts on the main screen. Everything's running down faster than it should. Not everything, Gohan pointed out, indicating scattered points on the map where the effect seemed absent or diminished. These anomalies, they're all places where Dad spent significant time recently. Everyone turned to Goku, who shifted uncomfortably under their scrutiny. It's true, he acknowledged. I can feel it when I'm in an area, things just work better around me now. Plants grow stronger, machines run smoother. You're countering the entropic effect, Bulma realized. Your presence creates a zone where your unlimited stamina offsets the accelerated decay. Before they could discuss further, Whis and Beerus arrived, without their usual casual demeanor. Even Beerus looked genuinely concerned, his typical irritable laziness replaced by focused attention. I see you've noticed, Whis said without preamble, tapping his staff to expand Bulma's global display into a three-dimensional model of the solar system. Throughout the model, dark patches had begun appearing, regions where entropy was accelerating beyond normal parameters. It's not just Earth, Whis continued. The effect is spreading throughout your solar system and beyond. The entropic cascade has begun. The what now? Krillin asked. He and the other Z fighters had gathered as word spread of the crisis. Entropic cascade, Whis repeated. A rare but extremely dangerous phenomenon where entropy, the natural tendency toward disorder, accelerates exponentially. Like a chain reaction. And this is happening because of me? Goku asked, the weight of responsibility evident in his voice. Because I messed with the natural order? Not exactly, Whis replied, his expression surprisingly gentle. This was always a possibility once Lord Entropy manifested physically. Your confrontation with him merely destabilized an already precarious balance. So how do we fix it? Vegeta demanded, characteristically cutting to the chase. Whis turned to Goku. You've noticed your ability to counteract the effect locally, yes? This is because you've become a conduit for both forces, unlimited energy and entropy. Currently, they exist in opposition within you, creating a localized zone of balance. But it's not enough to affect the whole planet, Goku realized. Precisely, Whis nodded. To address this cascade, we would need to expand your influence globally, perhaps even further. How do we do that? Bulma asked. We tried the key network against the limiters, but that was temporary. This sounds like we'd need something permanent. Indeed, Whis confirmed. What we're discussing would require Goku to become what my kind calls an anchor, a fixed point of cosmic balance. The term hung in the air, heavy with implications none of them fully understood. That sounds permanent, Chi-Chi said, voicing what everyone was thinking. It would be, Whis acknowledged. But perhaps we're getting ahead of ourselves. Before any such measure could be attempted, we would need to address the source of the cascade. Lord Entropy, Goku stated. It wasn't a question. Yes, Whis confirmed. Though you disrupted his manifestation, you did not truly defeat him, such a thing is impossible. Rather, you scattered his influence. But now, it seems, he is reforming, stronger and more determined than before. So we fight him again, Vegeta said, punching his palm with typical Saiyan enthusiasm. It's not that simple, Whis cautioned. Last time, you caught him by surprise. This time, he will be prepared for your tactics. Then we'll just have to surprise him again, Goku said with determined cheerfulness. But first, we need to slow down this entropic whatever you called it. People are already being affected. Bulma snapped her fingers. What if we expanded Goku's anti-entropy effect artificially? Like a network of amplifiers that could extend his influence across larger areas. Possible, Whis mused. Though it would place considerable strain on Goku himself, serving as the sole power source. I can handle it, Goku assured them. Unlimited stamina, remember? That's what started this whole mess, might as well use it to help fix things. Over the next several days, Bulma and her team worked around the clock to develop what they called balance amplifiers, devices that could extend Goku's unique energy signature over wider areas, creating zones where the accelerated entropy would be neutralized. Using Dr. Brief's most advanced technology combined with principles derived from studying Whis' staff, they created a network that could theoretically cover major population centers worldwide. The first test came in West City itself. As a demonstration, Bulma activated the prototype amplifier while Goku channeled his energy through it. The effect was immediately visible, plants that had begun to wither suddenly straightened and regained their vitality. Metals that had started to corrode regained their luster. Even the air seemed fresher, more energized. It's working! Bulma exclaimed, checking the readings. The amplifier is extending your anti-entropy effect across a 5-mile radius. Great! Goku grinned, though beads of sweat had appeared on his forehead, not from fatigue, but from the intense concentration required to maintain the precise balance of energies flowing through him. How many more of these do we need? To cover major cities globally? At least 50, Bulma calculated. And that's just for population centers. The rest of the planet would still be affected. Then we better get building, Goku replied with characteristic determination. While you do that, I should keep training. If Lord Entropy is coming back stronger, I need to be ready. As the days passed, the entropic cascade continued to accelerate. News reports worldwide documented the strange phenomenon, unexplained structural failures, widespread crop deaths, electrical grids faltering. Panic began to spread as people realized something fundamental was changing in the world around them. The Z fighters weren't immune either. Everyone except Goku noticed their energy reserves depleting faster, their bodies tiring more quickly. Even Vegeta, with his tremendous Saiyan stamina, found himself needing more recovery time between training sessions. It's affecting us at a cellular level, Gohan explained during a group meeting. Our bodies naturally fight entropy through metabolic processes, but now those processes can't keep up. We're essentially aging faster, burning energy quicker. Which makes Goku's condition all the more valuable, Piccolo observed. The Namekian had joined their efforts, his regenerative abilities making him more resistant to the entropic effects than most, but still noticeably affected. He's the only one operating at full capacity. Goku didn't take pride in this distinction. If anything, it heightened his sense of responsibility. While others weakened, he maintained peak condition, his unlimited stamina unaffected by the cascade. He divided his time between helping Bulma deploy the growing network of amplifiers and training intensely for the inevitable confrontation with Lord Entropy. He found Vegeta in the gravity chamber one morning, the prince struggling through a workout that would have been routine months earlier. Despite cranking the gravity down to 300 times Earth normal, half his usual training level, Vegeta was clearly straining. "Don't just stand there, Kakarot," Vegeta growled, noticing Goku in the doorway. "Either join or leave." Goku stepped inside, adjusting instantly to the increased gravity. "You're pushing yourself too hard, Vegeta." "The entropic effect, I know what it's doing," Vegeta snapped, performing push-ups with shaking arms. "All the more reason to fight against it." Goku watched his rival with concern. Vegeta's pride wouldn't let him acknowledge how the cascade was affecting him, but the evidence was impossible to ignore: increased fatigue, slower recovery, diminished power output. "Let me help," Goku offered, approaching cautiously. "I can share some of my energy with you, like we did against the limiters." Vegeta stopped mid-push-up, glaring up at Goku. "I don't need your charity, Kakarot." "It's not charity," Goku replied seriously. "It's strategy. When Lord Entropy returns, we'll need everyone at full strength." A tense moment passed before Vegeta grudgingly nodded. "Fine. But don't expect gratitude." Goku grinned. "Wouldn't dream of it." He placed a hand on Vegeta's shoulder and concentrated, establishing the now familiar key bridge between them. But instead of simply transferring raw energy as he had before, Goku focused on the unique dual nature of his power, the balance of unlimited stamina and entropic force that flowed through him. The effect was immediate and striking. Vegeta's aura, which had been flickering weakly, suddenly stabilized and strengthened. The prince's eyes widened in surprise as he felt his energy reserves not just replenish but stabilize against the draining effect of the cascade. "What did you do?" Vegeta demanded, standing upright with renewed vigor. "This is different from before." "I'm not just giving you energy," Goku explained. "I'm sharing the balance, teaching your ki how to resist the entropic effect, at least temporarily." Vegeta experimentally powered up to Super Saiyan, then Super Saiyan Blue, transformations that had become increasingly difficult to maintain as the cascade progressed. To his evident satisfaction, the blue aura remained stable around him. "How long will it last?" he asked, examining his hands as blue energy crackled between his fingers. "I'm not sure," Goku admitted. "A few hours, maybe a day." "This is new for me too." Vegeta nodded, then resumed his training with renewed intensity. "Then we shouldn't waste it. Spar with me, Kakarot." Full power. Their training session that followed was the most productive either had experienced in weeks. As they pushed each other to new limits, Goku realized something important: he wasn't just sharing his energy with Vegeta, he was learning too. The precise control required to maintain the balance within himself while extending it to another forced him to develop a deeper understanding of his unique condition. "We need to do this with everyone," Goku announced when they finally finished. "Not just to help them fight the cascade, but to prepare for what's coming. I think I'm starting to understand how to use this conduit thing properly." Over the following days, Goku worked with each of the Z fighters, sharing his balanced energy and extending temporary protection against the entropic cascade. With each transfer, his control improved, the process becoming more efficient, more natural. But even as they made progress on the individual level, the global situation deteriorated. Bulma's network of amplifiers helped protect major cities, but they couldn't possibly cover the entire planet. Reports came in of rural areas where the cascade had accelerated to devastating levels, forests dying in days, water sources drying up, soil becoming barren. "We're fighting a losing battle," Bulma admitted during an emergency meeting at Capsule Corporation. "The amplifiers help, but the cascade is accelerating faster than we can deploy them. And the energy demand on Goku is increasing as the effect strengthens. There has to be a more permanent solution," Gohan insisted, looking at Whis. You mentioned something about Goku becoming an anchor. What exactly would that entail? All eyes turned to the angel, who had been uncharacteristically somber throughout the crisis. An anchor, Whis explained carefully, is a fixed point of cosmic balance, a nexus where fundamental forces converge and stabilize. In the natural order, such points form over billions of years at the hearts of galaxies or within certain celestial bodies. But you're suggesting we could create one artificially, Bulma pressed. With Goku at its center. Precisely, Whis nodded. Goku's unique condition, serving as a conduit for both unlimited energy and entropy, makes him theoretically capable of becoming such an anchor. It would extend his balancing effect permanently across the planet, perhaps even the solar system. That sounds perfect. Krillin exclaimed. What's the catch? The catch, as you put it, Whis continued, is that an anchor cannot move freely. It must remain fixed at a single point in spacetime, maintaining the balance through constant, conscious effort. The implications hit everyone simultaneously. Goku would be bound to Earth, unable to leave, forever maintaining the balance that kept accelerated entropy at bay. For how long? Chi-Chi asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Whis met her gaze directly. Indefinitely. Perhaps for thousands of years. Silence fell over the room as the full weight of this potential sacrifice sank in. Goku's unlimited stamina would become both his greatest gift and his most binding constraint, enabling him to serve as Earth's anchor without fatigue, but tethering him permanently to that role. There has to be another way, Gohan insisted, looking at his father with concern. Perhaps, Whis acknowledged. But such alternatives would require addressing the source of the cascade directly. Lord Entropy, Goku stated. We need to confront him again. Not just scatter his influence like last time, but find a real solution. And how exactly do you propose to do that? Beerus spoke up for the first time. As Whis has explained repeatedly, entropy isn't something you can defeat permanently. It's a fundamental aspect of existence itself. Maybe we can't defeat it, Goku conceded. But we can talk to it. Everyone stared at him. Talk to it? Vegeta repeated incredulously. Have you lost your mind, Kakarot? No, think about it, Goku insisted, warming to his idea. Last time, Lord Entropy was just doing what comes naturally, enforcing the rule that everything eventually ends. But I'm proof that rules can change, or at least have exceptions. He turned to Whis. Could we somehow communicate with Lord Entropy? Not just fight him, but reach some kind of understanding. Whis considered this thoughtfully. In all my existence, I've never heard of anyone negotiating with a cosmic principle. But then again, his gaze focused on Goku with something like wonder. No mortal has ever done what you did, become a conduit for opposing forces and survived. So it's possible, Goku pressed. Theoretically, Whis allowed. But you would need to enter Lord Entropy's domain, the place where the principle of decay exists in its purest form. Few beings could survive such an environment, even briefly. But I could, Goku realized. Because I already contain that principle, balanced against my unlimited stamina. Whis nodded slowly. Perhaps. It would be dangerous beyond imagining, but, possible. Then that's what we'll do, Goku decided. Instead of fighting entropy, we'll try to understand it, work with it instead of against it. And if understanding isn't possible? Vegeta challenged. If this thing just wants to accelerate decay until the universe crumbles. Goku's expression grew serious. Then I'll become the anchor. Whatever it takes to protect Earth. The meeting concluded with a two-part plan: continue deploying Bulma's amplifiers to slow the cascade while preparing for Goku's journey to confront Lord Entropy directly. But before either could progress further, the decision was taken out of their hands. It began with a tremor, not in the ground, but in reality itself. Colors briefly inverted, sounds distorted, and everyone felt a momentary sensation of aging rapidly before snapping back to normal. Then another tremor came, stronger than the first. What's happening? Krillin gasped, clutching the table for support as another reality wave passed through them. He's coming, Whis said, his usual calm demeanor giving way to urgency. Lord Entropy is manifesting fully, not just his influence, but his actual consciousness. Outside the windows of Capsule Corp, the sky darkened unnaturally. Not with clouds, but with what looked like cracks in the fabric of reality itself, fracture lines through which absolute darkness seeped. So much for our careful planning, Vegeta muttered, already powering up. Goku stepped to the window, watching as the cracks spread across the sky. He could feel the cold emptiness radiating from them, entropy in its purest form, bleeding into their world directly. But he also felt something else, a resonance with the entropic force that now existed in balance within himself. Everyone get ready, he instructed. Without turning around. But let me try talking first. I think he's here for me specifically. They moved outside to the Capsule Corp grounds, watching as the cracks converged overhead to form a swirling vortex of darkness. From its center descended a figure that both was and wasn't Lord Entropy as they had seen him before. The entity still appeared as a void in reality, a being defined by absence rather than presence. But now that void had structure, detail, like seeing the precise shape of a black hole. Curves and angles that hurt the mind to follow formed what could loosely be called a face, with eyes that weren't eyes but rather windows into absolute emptiness. The anomaly persists, Lord Entropy stated, his voice no longer just sound but a fundamental vibration in reality itself. The imbalance grows. Goku stepped forward, placing himself between the cosmic entity and his friends. We need to talk about that. The entropic cascade, it's hurting this world. There has to be a better way. Lord Entropy regarded him with those not-quite eyes. There is no better way, anomaly. There is only the inevitable progression toward maximum entropy. Your resistance merely delays and distorts the natural process. But that's just it, Goku countered. I'm not resisting entropy anymore. I've become a conduit for both forces, unlimited energy and entropy, existing in balance. He placed a hand on his chest. I can feel them both inside me, working together instead of against each other. Lord Entropy drifted closer, his void-like form rippling with what might have been interest. You speak of balance, yet your very existence defies the most fundamental balance, that all things must end. Your unlimited stamina is an aberration. Maybe, Goku acknowledged. Or maybe it's an evolution, a new kind of balance. Not defying the rule that things end, but creating a sustainable cycle that can continue indefinitely. For a moment, Lord Entropy was silent, the cracks in the sky pulsing in rhythm with some unseen heartbeat. When he spoke again, his tone had subtly shifted. Show me this balance you claim to embody. Without hesitation, Goku powered up, not to his maximum, but to a level where both aspects of his unique condition were clearly visible. His aura manifested as a double layer, the inner core blazing blue-white with unlimited energy, the outer edge tinged with the darkness of entropy, the two forces flowing around and through each other in perpetual motion. Lord Entropy extended what might have been a hand, though it appeared more like a localized distortion in reality. Goku didn't flinch as it approached him, sensing no hostile intent behind the gesture. The moment the entity touched his aura, a connection formed between them, not the draining sensation Goku had experienced in their previous encounter, but a resonance, like two tuning forks vibrating at complementary frequencies. Fascinating, Lord Entropy observed. You have not conquered entropy, but incorporated it. Not defied the end, but embraced it as part of a continuous cycle. The void-like head tilted. This was unanticipated. That's us humans for you, Goku replied with a slight smile. Always doing the unanticipated. The cosmic entity withdrew its distortion hand, the cracks in the sky above shifting pattern as if in contemplation. Your solution is elegant, Lord Entropy finally admitted. But localized. The cascade continues throughout this world and beyond, accelerating entropy beyond sustainable parameters. Then help me fix it, Goku suggested boldly. You're the embodiment of entropy itself. If anyone can control this cascade, it's you. You propose cooperation. The concept seemed to genuinely surprise the cosmic entity. Between the principle of decay and its greatest anomaly? Exactly, Goku nodded. I've learned that fighting against natural forces just creates bigger problems. But working with them, understanding them, that's how you find real balance. For what seemed like an eternity, Lord Entropy was silent. The Z. Fighters watched tensely, prepared for combat should the conversation turn hostile. But Goku stood relaxed, somehow certain that violence wouldn't be necessary this time. Your proposal has merit, Lord Entropy finally conceded. But implementation would require a deeper connection than this superficial resonance. We would need to enter the domain where time and energy exist in fluid state, the entropic plane. Fine by me, Goku agreed readily. How do we get there? Goku, wait, Whis interjected with uncharacteristic urgency. The entropic plane isn't simply another dimension. It's the fundamental layer of reality where the principle of decay originates, where past, present, and future exist simultaneously in various states of dissolution. Sounds intense, Goku acknowledged. But if that's where we can solve this, then that's where I need to go. You misunderstand, Whis persisted. No mortal has ever entered the entropic plane and returned unchanged. Even gods avoid that realm. Goku looked back at Lord Entropy. Is that true? Will I be changed if I go there? Certainly, the entity confirmed without hesitation. But you are already changed, anomaly. The question is not whether transformation will occur, but what form it will take. Goku took a moment to look back at his friends and family. Chi-Chi's face was tight with worry but showed no surprise. She had long ago accepted that her husband would always choose the path of greatest risk when others were in danger. Gohan looked torn between scientific curiosity and filial concern. Vegeta's expression was unreadable, but the slight nod he gave Goku spoke volumes about their mutual understanding. I'll go, Goku decided. But I want your word that while I'm gone, you'll stop the cascade from getting worse. Time has no meaning in the entropic plane, Lord Entropy replied. From the perspective of your world, our journey and return will appear instantaneous, regardless of how long our communion takes. Convenient, Goku grinned. All right then, how do we? Before he could finish the question, reality seemed to fold around him. The world of solid matter and linear time vanished, replaced by nothing and everything. The entropic plane defied description in normal spatial terms. It wasn't a place so much as a state of being where all things existed simultaneously in various stages of decay and renewal. Goku perceived what seemed like the entire universe laid bare before him, every star and planet and life form visible at once, from birth to death and everything in between. This is. Words failed him. The true nature of existence. Lord Entropy's voice came from everywhere and nowhere. The entity no longer appeared as a void-like figure but as an integral part of the fabric of reality itself, the spaces between things, the pauses between moments, the inevitable transitions from order to disorder. Goku looked down at himself, surprised to find he still appeared to have a body, though it shimmered with layers of probability, what he had been, what he was, what he might become, all superimposed. Here, in this realm, we can address the cascade at its source, Lord Entropy continued. But first, you must truly understand what entropy is, not an enemy to be fought, but the necessary counterbalance to creation itself. What followed was unlike any experience in Goku's life. Lord Entropy didn't explain with words but with direct experience, allowing Goku to perceive the fundamental role of entropy in the cosmos. He witnessed stars being born from the decay of previous stellar generations, life emerging from the breakdown of inorganic compounds, new ideas arising from the dissolution of old paradigms. Without entropy, the entity conveyed, nothing would change. The universe would be static, frozen in perfect order, and perfect stagnation. But the cascade, Goku objected, somehow communicating without speaking. It's accelerating entropy beyond its natural rate. Correct. Because the natural balance has been disrupted, not by your unlimited stamina alone, but by the accumulation of anomalies throughout the cosmos. Your condition was merely the catalyst that brought the imbalance to critical levels. Lord Entropy expanded Goku's perception further, allowing him to see other anomalies throughout the universe, beings and phenomena that defied the natural progression toward entropy in various ways. Gods who existed outside time. Artifacts that generated energy from nothing. Dimensions where thermodynamic laws operated differently. The multiverse has always contained such exceptions, Lord Entropy explained. But their number grows, and with it, the strain on fundamental balance. Goku began to understand. His unlimited stamina wasn't unique in defying cosmic laws, just the most recent and perhaps most direct challenge to entropy itself. So the cascade is like a correction mechanism? Goku suggested. The universe trying to rebalance itself? An imperfect analogy, but essentially correct. When anomalies accumulate beyond a certain threshold, entropy accelerates to compensate. But such corrections are crude and indiscriminate, causing harm to countless beings caught in the process. Then we need a better system, Goku proposed. Something more precise. Lord Entropy's presence seemed to intensify around him. That is why you are here, Anomaly. Your unique condition, embodying both unlimited energy and entropic principle, offers possibility for a new approach. The anchor that was mentioned, Goku realized. But he said I'd have to remain fixed in one place, maintaining the balance forever. That is one configuration, Lord Entropy acknowledged. But perhaps not the only one. The entity's form shifted, becoming something Goku could more easily comprehend, a mirror image of himself, but composed of swirling entropy. This doppelganger extended a hand toward him. We have existed as opposites, Anomaly. But we could exist as complements. Not fighting for dominance, but working in conscious harmony. Goku understood immediately. You want to merge with me. Become part of my consciousness. And you part of mine, the entropy Goku confirmed. Neither dominating the other, but creating something new, a conscious nexus of balance that could regulate the flow of entropy with precision rather than crude acceleration. The implications were staggering. Goku would retain his identity and unlimited stamina, but gain direct influence over the principle of entropy itself. He would become neither mortal nor cosmic force, but something in between, a bridge between fundamentally opposed aspects of existence. What would this mean practically? Goku asked, trying to grasp the full ramifications. For Earth, for my family, for me. You would maintain your physical form and consciousness, Entropy Goku explained. But gain awareness and influence over entropy throughout your world and beyond. The cascade would end, replaced by conscious regulation. You would be both Goku and more than Goku, an embodiment of balance itself. And my unlimited stamina? Unchanged, but purposeful. No longer an anomaly to be corrected, but the necessary counterweight to entropy's influence within you. Goku considered this carefully. Unlike many of his past decisions, made in the heat of battle with little time for reflection, this choice would fundamentally alter not just his life but potentially the nature of his very being. If I agree to this merger, he asked, can it be undone? No, Entropy Goku stated simply. Once joined, we would become a new existence, neither fully entropy nor fully anomaly. The choice, once made, is permanent. Goku thought of his family, his friends, his love of battle and adventure. Would those remain? Would he still be himself after such a profound transformation? As if sensing his concerns, the entropy doppelganger added, you would not lose what makes you Goku. Your memories, your bonds, your essential nature would remain. But they would exist alongside a deeper awareness of cosmic balance. Goku took a moment that might have been seconds or eons in this strange realm. He thought of Chi-Chi and their life together. Of Gohan and Goten, grown now but still his sons. Of his grandchildren and the future generations that would inhabit Earth. Of all the innocent beings throughout the universe caught in the entropic cascade through no fault of their own. And he thought of his journey, from a wild boy with a tail to Earth's greatest defender, through transformations and battles that had gradually led him to this moment. Perhaps this was the natural next step in that evolution. I accept, Goku decided, extending his hand to meet his entropy counterparts. Let's create a new balance together. As their hands touched, reality itself seemed to hold its breath. The entire entropic plane pulsed once, twice, then began to swirl around them like water down a drain, with Goku and his doppelganger at the center. There was no pain, only transformation, a merging of opposites, a unification of principles that should have been eternally at odds. Goku felt his consciousness expanding exponentially, gaining awareness of entropy's flow throughout the cosmos while simultaneously retaining his individual identity and memories. When the transformation completed, there was only one Goku, outwardly unchanged, but inwardly housing both his unlimited stamina and the conscious regulation of entropy itself, no longer fighting for dominance but working in harmony. Reality folded again, and Goku found himself back on Earth, standing exactly where he had been, facing his concerned friends and family. To them, no time had passed at all. Goku. Chi-Chi stepped forward cautiously. Are you, still you? Goku smiled, the same warm, slightly goofy smile that was uniquely his. Yeah, it's still me. Just, more of me now. Whis approached, studying him with undisguised fascination. Extraordinary. You've become a conscious nexus, a living embodiment of balanced forces that have never before existed in harmony. Is that good or bad? Krillin asked nervously. Neither. Or both, Whis replied enigmatically. It simply is. Goku looked up at the sky, where the cracks had already begun to heal, reality knitting itself back together as the entropic cascade abated. He could feel it now, the flow of entropy throughout the world, no longer accelerating chaotically but finding its natural rhythm again. More than that, he could influence that flow with a thought, directing it away from areas that needed protection, allowing it to progress naturally where appropriate. Not stopping entropy, that would be as unnatural as the cascade itself, but guiding it, moderating it, ensuring it served its proper function without overwhelming the balance. The plants in our field will grow again, he told Chi-Chi with quiet confidence. The decay is already reversing where it accelerated too quickly. So it worked? Bulma asked, checking her instruments which showed the entropic reading stabilizing globally. The crisis is over. The immediate crisis, yes, Goku confirmed. But this is just the beginning. There's so much more to understand, to balance. What does that mean for you? Gohan asked, scientific curiosity mixing with concern for his father. Are you bound to Earth now, like an anchor? Goku shook his head. No, I'm free to move, to live normally. The balance exists within me now, not tied to any specific location. He grinned suddenly, the familiar spark of excitement returning to his eyes. Which means I can still train, still fight, just with a new awareness of how energy and entropy interact. And your unlimited stamina? Vegeta asked the question that concerned him most. Still there, Goku assured him. But now it has purpose beyond just letting me train non-stop. It's the counterbalance that lets me regulate entropy without being consumed by it. As days passed, the full implications of Goku's transformation became clearer. The entropic cascade receded completely, with accelerated decay returning to normal levels worldwide. Plants that had withered prematurely began to recover. Technology that had failed inexplicably functioned again. The natural balance of creation and dissolution reasserted itself. For Goku personally, the change was profound yet subtle. Outwardly, he remained the same cheerful, battle-loving scion he had always been. He still trained relentlessly, still enjoyed enormous meals, still sometimes forgot important dates and exasperated Chi-Chi with his casual approach to domestic responsibilities. But inwardly, he now existed in two states simultaneously, the individual named Goku with all his personal connections and quirks, and the cosmic nexus that regulated the flow of entropy across vast distances. This dual awareness gave him a perspective few mortals could comprehend, yet somehow strengthened rather than diminished his appreciation for the small joys of everyday life. "It's like I can see both the forest and every individual leaf at the same time," he tried to explain to Gohan during one of their regular sparring sessions. "I'm still me, but I'm connected to everything in a way I never was before." This connection manifested in unexpected ways. Goku found he could sense disturbances in the balance of creation and decay across vast distances. He could feel when a star was about to go supernova halfway across the galaxy, or when an ecosystem on Earth had fallen out of equilibrium. More importantly, he could influence these processes with conscious intent, not preventing natural decay, but ensuring it proceeded at appropriate rates. A dying forest would still die, but in a way that nourished new growth rather than spreading disease. A star would still explode, but its energy would disperse in patterns that fostered new stellar formation rather than uncontrolled destruction. This cosmic awareness also gave Goku new insights into combat. He could perceive the flow of energy in his opponents with unprecedented clarity, identifying inefficiencies and imbalances that could be exploited. His own techniques evolved to incorporate this understanding, becoming not necessarily more powerful but more precise, more efficient. Vegeta found this particularly infuriating. "It's not enough that you never tire," the prince complained after losing their third consecutive sparring match. "Now you can literally see the entropy in my attacks. How is that fair?" Goku laughed, offering a hand to help his rival up. "If it makes you feel better, I'm still figuring this out myself. Half the time I don't know what to do with all the information I'm getting." "Humph," Vegeta grunted, ignoring the offered hand and standing on his own. "I suppose this means you'll be too busy with cosmic responsibilities to train properly anymore." "Are you kidding?" Goku looked genuinely surprised. "This makes training more important than ever. I need to understand how my fighting abilities connect to this new awareness." The relief on Vegeta's face was almost comical. Some things, it seemed, would never change, including the competitive drive that defined their relationship. As weeks passed, Goku settled into his new dual existence. Most days were filled with normal activities, training, helping on the farm, spending time with family and friends. But occasionally, he would sense a significant imbalance somewhere and depart briefly to address it, using instant transmission to travel wherever he was needed. Sometimes these journeys took him to distant planets where entropic anomalies threatened local ecosystems. Other times, he simply needed to visit areas on Earth where the lingering effects of the cascade required adjustment. He always returned promptly, usually with new stories of strange worlds or interesting beings he'd encountered. "It's like he's become some kind of cosmic handyman," Krillin joked during a gathering at Kame House. "Running around the universe fixing entropic leaks." "I prefer balance technician," Goku replied with a grin. "Sounds more professional." Despite the light-hearted banter, everyone understood the profound importance of Goku's new role. Without his conscious regulation, the entropic cascade might have continued accelerating until all life in their region of space had prematurely withered away. He had become, in a very real sense, a guardian of existence itself. Yet Goku carried this responsibility with characteristic humility. To him, it was simply another way of protecting those he cared about, just on a larger scale than before. Perhaps the most significant change was in Goku's relationship with his own unlimited stamina. What had once been merely a convenient advantage in battle now served a cosmic purpose, providing the necessary counterbalance to his entropic awareness. The energy that never depleted allowed him to regulate decay without being overcome by it, maintaining equilibrium within himself and, by extension, the wider universe. "It's like the universe gave you unlimited stamina knowing you'd eventually need it for this," Gohan suggested during a quiet evening at the Sun family home. Goku considered this. Maybe. Or maybe it was just a happy accident. Either way, I'm glad things worked out. Happy accident? Chi-Chi raised an eyebrow. That's what you call a cosmic crisis that nearly destroyed the planet? Goku laughed, pulling her into a hug. Well, when you put it that way. 6 months after the merger with Lord Entropy, Goku received an unexpected visitor. He was training alone in the mountains when the air shimmered with the now familiar distortion that preceded a limiter's arrival. But unlike their previous hostile encounters, this time only one limiter appeared, the controller, its layered form more defined than before, almost solid compared to its previous eclipse-like appearance. Nexus Goku, the controller acknowledged with a slight bow. The limiters recognize your new status. Goku stopped his training routine, returning the gesture respectfully. I didn't expect to see you again. At least not on friendly terms. Circumstances have changed, the controller stated simply. The anomaly that concerned us has transformed into a stabilizing factor. Your unlimited stamina now serves cosmic balance rather than defying it. So I'm not breaking the rules anymore? Goku asked with a slight smile. You have become part of the rules, the controller corrected. A new parameter in the cosmic equation, unexpected, but ultimately beneficial. Glad to hear it, Goku replied sincerely. I wasn't looking forward to another fight with you guys. The controller's form shifted slightly, what might have been the equivalent of a shrug. Such conflict is no longer necessary. Indeed, the limiters now recognize a potential for cooperation. Cooperation? This genuinely surprised Goku. What kind of cooperation? There exist throughout the multiverse other anomalies that disrupt fundamental constants, the controller explained. Some benign, others potentially catastrophic. The limiters address these through direct intervention, but your approach, integration rather than correction, offers alternative possibilities. You want me to help with other anomalies? Goku clarified. Help them find balance like I did. When appropriate, the controller confirmed. Not all anomalies can or should be preserved. But for those with potential beneficial function, your experience could prove valuable. Goku considered this thoughtfully. His new cosmic awareness had already shown him other anomalies throughout the universe, beings and phenomena that existed outside normal parameters, some causing minor disturbances in the fabric of reality. I'm not sure I'm qualified to judge which anomalies should stay and which should go, he admitted. That's a pretty big responsibility. Indeed, the controller agreed. Which is why we propose exchange rather than delegation. The limiters would continue our primary function, but consult with you in cases of uncertainty. A cosmic advisory role, Goku mused. That's not what I expected when I woke up this morning. Unexpected paths are your specialty, Nexus Goku, the controller observed with what might have been the faintest trace of humor. Consider our proposal at your leisure. The multiverse has existed for billions of years, a few more days will make little difference. With that, the controller bowed once more and vanished, the air rippling briefly before settling back to normal. Goku remained in the mountains long after the limiter departed, contemplating this new development. From accidentally gaining unlimited stamina to becoming a nexus of cosmic balance to now potentially advising the limiters themselves, his journey had taken turns he could never have anticipated. Yet somehow, it felt right. Natural, even. As if each step, however strange, had been preparing him for what came next. When he finally returned home that evening, he found his family and closest friends gathered for dinner, one of those spontaneous get-togethers that had become more common since the crisis. Looking around the table at the faces of those he loved, Goku felt a profound sense of gratitude. His unlimited stamina had begun as a quirk, became a crisis, and transformed into a cosmic responsibility. But throughout it all, these connections had remained his anchor to humanity, his reason for fighting, for seeking balance, for embracing his unique role in the universe. Everything okay? Chi-Chi asked, noticing his unusually contemplative expression. Goku smiled, the same smile he had worn since boyhood, open, honest, full of life. Yeah. Everything's exactly as it should be. And it was. In a universe defined by opposing forces, creation and destruction, order and chaos, energy and entropy, Goku had found his place not by choosing one side or the other, but by embracing both. His unlimited stamina, once an anomaly to be corrected, had become part of a greater balance. Not a burden, but a gift. Not a violation of cosmic law, but an evolution of it. As he joined his family at the table, Goku knew that whatever challenges came next, whether ordinary threats to Earth or extraordinary cosmic disturbances, he would face them with the same determination he always had. And he would never, ever run out of energy to protect what mattered most. Some things, it seemed, truly were unlimited. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.